Hello, good evening, everyone. This is Life Issue. This is Blessing, and we are talking under the umbrella of Nigerian Diaspora Support Group for Peter Obi. And we are here with our brothers from the North who have actually come out to make sure that the struggle for a better Nigeria is actualized. We are going to be having a conversation with them to understand what is happening in the North, to understand why Northern Nigeria is key to this struggle. And we're going to also understand the issues that they face in the North, because we know that Northern Nigeria is peculiar and that their way of mobilization for the support group might be different. So I'm going to give every speaker a chance to introduce themselves so that we understand who they are and what they have been doing for the P2B support group. All right, if I can give the mic to Umar Ibrahim, if you can introduce yourself, please.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me on the show. My name is Umar Ibrahim Ahmad. I am a Kaduna resident, and I am a Northerner here in Kaduna. And I am obedient. I like to make that very, very clear enough for people to understand that some of us in the North who are into the obedient movement are not in for the politics of it, for the fact that we want a change, a move away from the status quo, from the old bloc. We want to usher in a new government, and so we are working here on ground to see that that very mandate is actualized with the support of most of you from the diaspora and here in Nigeria. So so far so good. I am a Labour Party member. I think that was the first thing I did when I joined the movement, because of course, if you want to if you want to be an obedient person, it is only important that you be a member of the vehicle that Peter Obi would drive to make sure to actualize a new Nigeria come 2023. So thank you for having me on the show. And for a brief introduction, I'm a businessman, a graduate of chemical engineering, ABU Zaria. And for now, I'm into IT business, sales of equipment, laptops and phones and all that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Can we have the next panelist, Chuks Agocha, if you can introduce yourself? You're on mute, we can't hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for having me on the show. My name is Chuks Agocha, and I'm currently residing in the United Kingdom. I'm obedient and very much looking forward to a government in Nigeria that takes fiscal responsibility seriously, that values the lives of its citizens enough to be driven by their welfare as opposed to being distant to the sufferings of the masses. I am also the coordinator of the Nigerian Diaspora for P2B, an organization or support group that spans different countries in the world. And the whole idea for us is to band ourselves and resources, human capital and financial, towards the actualization of the presidency for His Excellency Peter Obi and Senator Dati Baba Ahmed Yusuf, Baba Ahmed. to become the president of Nigeria come 2023. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can I have Honorable Jamilu? So can you just introduce a brief introduction of yourself? And we can hear you. Oh dear. The audio is not working. We can't hear you.
Unmute yourself, Jamilu.
He's on mute. All right, we'll come back to Honorable because we can't hear you. We'll come back to you. Oluwa Sylvia, can you just tell us who you are? Please unmute yourself. Oh, Jamila, I think you're on now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jamilu Abubakar, popularly known as Jamilu Subi, a resident of Sokoto State, an indigenous of Zamfara State. Why into supporting His Excellency Peter Obi? Earlier, we are in All Progressive Congress, that is the ruling party, when we are ravaged by banditry and a lot of things, insecurity in my state. That is one of the things that make me relocate from Sokoto State, from Zamfara State to Sokoto State, a nearby state, due to the threatening security challenges in the country, in the state. So honestly, we have to look into the picture of the country. It's one of the things that make us go in line with His Excellency Peter Obi agenda and mission for saving the country from the status quo. That is why we have to come back to our senses. We realize that the only opportunity we have in this 2023 is to make the changes that will safeguard the life and properties of each and every Nigerian. That is why I believe so much in His Excellency Peter Obi and his ability to do so. That is why I joined his Labour Party immediately. He joined, he decame from PDP to Labour Party. So thank you very much. I'm one of the founders of the Northern Coalition for Peter Obi, one of the stronger support groups from the Northern Nigeria.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to say a little bit of housekeeping if we can mute if we're not speaking. And we're going to go over to Olu Sylvia, please. Can you unmute? Okay, we'll come back to Olu Sylvia. Can we go over to Duke Obote? Just a little brief introduction.
Yes, hello everybody. Thank you, Blessing, for inviting me to this. My name is Duke, as you can see on the screen, and I am an economist by training and a consultant in small-scale industries, SMEs, as well as a minor entrepreneur. I am obedient, and I'm obedient not essentially because of Peter Obi, but because of a desire to see Nigeria move away from where I believe the main challenges are for our country, which is institutional imbalance. I strongly believe that it would not matter who you elect as a president in Nigeria if our institutions don't change to become inclusive. They would never give an opportunity to that person to succeed. There are too many things that are wrong that need to be corrected. And one of the reasons why I have become obedient is that I honestly believe that Peter is capable of making those changes. Let me also add that I have been a coordinator of Country First Nigeria. Country First Nigeria have been agitating for a third force since 2015 with the leadership of Chris Mwakobia, who you know did run for presidential ticket at some point in time before he then defected to PDP. But that strong belief that I have that there is a need to change the institutions in the first instance is what is driving me. And the major contribution that I am hoping I can bring and contribute towards this process is to ensure that Peter Obi's campaign and that his campaign will continue to highlight the need for these changes, because at the end of the day, that is what Nigerian youths will vote for. And this is why I also believe that the Northern youths will vote for it, because they're not just voting for Peter Obi, they're not just voting for Dati, they are voting for a new Nigeria. And the two current big parties that we have, the PDP and the APC, are not capable of giving us that, because they are already very much, invested in the system that we have. It benefits them. They won't change it. Only a third force will change it. And Peter is that third force.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go over to a woman, Miriam. If you can unmute and just introduce yourself to us, please.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay, my name is Mariam Ismail. I'm the Vice Chairperson, Northern Coalition for Peter Obi. We're representing the 19 Northern states, and essentially, our work is mostly rural sensitization, grassroots.
Okay. Thank you so much. The last person, I know there's someone else that's supposed to come in. I'll try and get him in, is John Alpha. Dr. John Alpha, please introduce yourself.
You're mute.
You're on mute, please.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I've unmuted. My name is John Alpha. I'm a medical doctor. I practice in the United Kingdom. I live in Manchester. I am from North Central state, well, the North Central part of Nigeria. My dad is up from the Benue Plateau, the original Benue Plateau. My mom is from Kogi State. I schooled in the South. I understand the dynamics of regionalism and ethnicity and all that. It has always pained my heart to have witnessed bad governance in Nigeria over the years, and I've always yearned for the time when, good leadership will be entrenched in Nigeria. And I see that in Peter Obi. And that's why I'm a firm supporter of Peter Obi. I'm happy to promulgate anything that will lead to the success of his ambition. I just feel that the Northern, well, my feeling is that the Northern representation of the Labour Party and the awareness amongst the North, particularly as it relates to this ambition of Peter Obi, to me, is a bit below par. And I'm hoping that through this discussion tonight, people who are on ground can correct me if I'm wrong, that there's not enough presence, and we can discuss what we can do to correct that seemingly disproportionate campaign going on right now. Thanks.
Oh, thank you so much. I think I'm just going to try and see if Olu is going to come in. If not, we're just going to just dive in and start with the first question. Olua, are you here? Olua, if you come in, just, can you speak now?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm very near to kids. I'm not on a travel.
Okay,
Olua,
we're still having issues with your network. I'll just remove you and come back to you. All right, let's ask this important question, because when I wanted to start this live stream and I wanted to talk to people about the knots, I mean, the first question that everybody wanted to know or wanted to find out was, Why is the North key? Why are they very important? The APC is trying to, get them to their side. The PDP already is, having a lot of, meetings with the Northern leaders. Why is the Northern Nigeria important to Labour Party? I want Mr. Hold on. Mr. Jamilu, I was asking a question, and I know you are the coordinator, one of the coordinators in the North. And the question I'm asking, why is the North very important? Why do we need them to be parts of the Labour Party and to be part of the support group? Mr. Chuk, can you just put light into this, why they are important?
Thank you very much.
Can we mute our microphone, please?
Thank you very much. The importance of the North can never be overemphasized. One, it is a part of the country called Nigeria, and the presidency of the country, Nigeria, has to be a presidency that is representative of the whole of the country. But secondly, the North is super important because the number of states in the North is more than the number of states in the South of the country. And there is a dynamic in which, not even a dynamic, there is a requirement for electoral success in Nigeria that mandates the candidate that will be declared the president to have a minimum of 25% of votes in 2/3 of the country. And a country with 36 states and FCT, you therefore know that you're going to need to have 25% across 24 states minimum.
Wow.
That includes the North, includes everywhere. You have to deal with that across the board. Now, the dynamic of this particular election season, as you can see, has been very peculiar, really different from anything we have had before, in which we have a Muslim ticket. We've never had that in any party before. Now we have it. Now, the North predominantly is of the Muslim religion. Therefore, if one stands to imagine that if there is a Muslim ticket, it might sell more to the North than any other ticket. The point is that the North is a decider region in this election. So everybody needs to focus on the North and ensure that they get a huge part of the pie that is coming from the North. Outside of it, nobody can be declared a president without it. So
Okay,
it is very important.
Wow. So what you are saying is that the way this election runs, if any of the parties, even the APC candidates or the Labour Party candidates, if we do not have a little or a big portion of the North voting for them, then we might actually have a problem facing us.
Definitely.
I don't know if Jamilo, do we understand this as we are out there campaigning? Do we actually understand the importance of getting the Northern Nigeria to buy to the ideology of Peter Obi? Please, can you?
Yes, thank you very much. As Mr. Chuk said, honestly, based on the requirements of the constitutions of the country, it is very important for us. The Northern Nigeria is one of the sections of the country that for His Excellency Peter Obi to win election to focus more. Because let me even say predominantly the dominance of the labor, what we call it, APC and the PDP is overemphasized. We cannot underestimate it because the there are a lot of sentiments, the religious bigotry, and other things that are playing right now on the ground. And one thing is that is very, very important for everybody to understand is that the voters are in the local areas and not in the major cities in the northern Nigeria, because there are lack of knowledge, let me even say lack of awareness of the Labour Party in those rural areas, at least in the main cities. While if you look at the what we call it, the chances of other parties in the culture of northern Nigeria, whenever elections come, all the times the traditional rulers in our areas make decisions for the people. So that decisions is now changing. The paradigm is changing because of the insecurity we find ourselves right now. So people have to buy. We have to market a very good product. So if you are marketing a very product for the first time, that means you have to what we call it stand and do a lot of hard work. So honestly, these are the kind of what we call it. We understand that it is very important to garner vote from the northerners, especially those in the rural areas, because most of the vote come from the rural areas, not the main cities. And there are these Muslim tickets on that we cannot underestimate it, because that sentiment, religious sentiment, is there. That is why APC chose the Muslim ticket. Apart from 1993 during Abiola and what we call it Bashir Tofa, that they contested together and they won. Not Bashir Tofa, Abiola. He contested as a Muslim ticket in 1993 and they won the elections, despite the fact that then INEC did not make the announcement. So now Tinubu, APC understand the game, that if they don't have anything to sell to Nigerians, especially the northerners that were ravaged by insecurity. So they now use the same tactics, despite the fact that this is not the time for that such kind of tickets. So now they are using a psychological way to win the sympathy of the people, using a religious, what we call it, affiliations. So
Wow.
honestly, we understand it is very important to put double effort in the northern Nigeria.
Wow. Okay, so basically the Muslim ticket is actually a strategy because they understood the dynamics of the northern Nigeria. Oh wow. Okay, I'm going to talk to Umar. You are on the streets. You and Miriam, both of you guys are there. We are in diaspora. I mean, we see what you send to us on social media. We follow the conversation. Do you think that Labour Party is actually engaging the northern leader? And I'm going to also ask um, Dr. I think is Dr. Annie Setos, yeah? If you can also put in this, understanding the fact that the way the northern Nigeria is structured, the leaders are very important. The what will I say? The religious leaders are also very important. Do we feel that this actually is being maximized by the Labour Party? Can any of you come into this, please?
Go ahead.
Ibrahim, can you
Okay.
just yeah.
Okay, let me say okay.
I'll come in after. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I think on the part of the Labour Party, it is relatively non-existent, I would say, with regards to the North presently as it stands. So far, so good. I think it's only the support groups, especially Northern Coalition for Peter Obi, that have been doing the work of Labour Party. Because there's an total absence of structure in the 19 northern states of the country. Labour Party seems to be totally absent in all of the activities, especially coordinating and synergizing the support groups and bringing them together and actually pushing, the presence. Because what we do basically here right now is to market Peter Obi. You hardly see any any video where you see governorship candidates, for example, from the north, or other contestants like those for the House of Representatives or the senatorial seat. So far, so good. The discussions are just centered around Peter Obi. And so, basically, for a fact, so much needs to be done with regards to our presence here as a party, and before we will be able to actually sell our candidate enough. Because when people talk about structure every time, we seem to forget that structure is not just about the organic movements that we have right now for the support groups. The structure people talk about is the party, where the state the state have a central party office, and then local governments also have their party offices, and wards also have their party offices, and people need to man these places. So far, so good for the entire 19 northern states, as far as I'm concerned. And in fact, in some southern states, from what I have heard, we seem to be absent in that regard. So much needs to be done. For us, for those of us who are in the streets today, these are the little things that I think are missing so far, so good in the movement. Then, with regards to the question about religious leaders and how we've been able to push, quite frankly, we've been doing our bits, but then, we need this support and the mobilization, because Jamilu Sufi travels, he hardly sleeps, he hardly stays in one city, in one state for say 2 days. He's either in Zamfara today, Sokoto, or Kano State, or Kaduna here to work with us. For those of us in Kaduna, he's in Abuja the next minute. Just the way Peter Obi goes around. That's how this Jamilu Sufi, as our chairman, have been going around trying to see how we can get. So we really need that support to be able to visit these elders, because they are the deciders. I have to be honest about this. They are the deciders for how people vote in the north. If you go to places like Zamfara State or say Sokoto State, where you see big names like Ali Wamaku, they have this name because of the number of votes they can pull for various parties. And how do they do that? They use the religious and traditional rulers in most of these locations. So you can go to an entire village, and they will take all of the votes in this entire village, and when the day comes for election, the entire village is totally blocked for a particular party or a particular candidate. So we need to we've not done enough of that, because we don't have the necessary support and mobilization to do that. So this is what I can say for now with regards to the North. Thank you.
Doctor, can you? I mean, I saw you're putting your head, and I know you are kind of like agreeing or trying to come in. I mean, I have seen elections where I've seen I'm a mom or a clergy, or talking to people, and you just see them going with that person and voting.
Yes.
How do we think we can get into the North, get the North to listen? Remember, the North, they listen to their leaders. How do we think we can get in without that being in place?
I think, thank you very much. And thank you everybody for being around here. What I can say is that it is very clear and understandable that we have to deliver the North. Because without delivering North, we might find it a hard nut to crack to get into ASROC. So that is very clear and understandable. Now, the issue of delivering the North, there are so many other points that we can raise while we're talking, but reflecting to what the last speaker just said now, the Labour Party is not that much on ground in the North. We can all agree to that. So what we need to do, there are people already making the moves towards delivering that region. So what we need to do is increase the capable hands to do that. For example, we're going to reach both the traditional rulers and the religious rulers. We have the emirs. By now, I think we're a little I don't know if you're waiting for the campaign to officially start, but for now, we're supposed to have it getting in touch with the emirs of all these areas.
Yeah.
We'll have the Serikis. We'll have the Damasani. I don't know if I'm getting the names right. The Damasani and all these traditional, the imams. Right? We need to be meeting them. In short, the hands that need to make this, like I heard the last speaker speaking about the guys that are going non-stop. The next day he's in Kaduna, the next day he's in Abuja. I mean, we need hundreds and hundreds of such hands to help us, so that at the end of the day, if other parties are also meeting up with the emirs and the Serkis and all that, we are doing the same as well, or if not better, because these parties are already on ground. So we need to outnumber them to be able to counter and balance the presence they have already. So it's more or less an uphill task, but that can be done. So I think what we need to do is expand the hands so that not a few people run around, but more people actually go into the emirs about almost the same time that other people are doing. So it's very important that we reach to them, and then also religious leaders to the imams to reach to them, and then begin to engage them on how we can deliver the North. So if you look at it, I don't want to expand more beyond this particular point, but if you look at the way the vice president nominee for APC was selected from Borno State, actually was very strategic. That selection was very strategic. So when it comes to that point, I'm going to expand on that. For now, what we need to support what is already on ground, which is not much, is to work with, get more hands, not only capable, but more hands to reach out to the emirs, to reach out the Serikis, to reach out to the Damasanis, to reach out the imams, and all the people that represent them. Because no matter how we look at it, the followers are the voters with the voters PVC. Listen to those gentlemen. So the earlier we reach out to them, the better for us. Let me stop for now.
Thank you. I'm going to bring in Miriam. I know, Miriam, I've heard you a lot on speaking on spaces, and I have followed you. I've been one person that I've actually admired you and what you are doing in the North. I just want you to talk about your experience being a woman and being there. I know the Northern women group are very powerful because you guys are actually the ones that do the knocking and trying to talk to people. They listen more to you than even to the other, what will I say, support group. So can you just give us your experience? You are on the streets. What is happening? What is the support? How do you think that the Northern Nigeria can be delivered? Thank you.
Okay, good evening once again, everyone.
Good evening.
Well, honestly, being on ground as a woman, going house to house and everything, one thing I can say is it's quite tasking, but it's Peter Obi is a sellable candidate, most especially to the women in the North, because I think they are the ones that have suffered more in losing their children to insecurity, lost their husbands, their means of livelihoods, and being in IDP camps and everything. So when you sit down, when you have, more presence and talking to them one-on-one, it's kind of quite sellable. But the North is a very vast, area of land to cover. So it's quite tasking, but at the same time, it's not something that is impossible. It is possible. And I believe most especially with the younger generation. The younger generation are easier to reach because they understand more and they experience what is going on more. So I believe, the women are a very, very vital and they are key in Northern households. They kind of like control the house and their children. So I believe, when we remove, maybe there are verses in the Quran that counter a lot of things, and we have tried them and we have seen the impact, and we've seen acceptance, and we've seen positive, results using such strategies and everything. So I believe he's a sellable candidate with the right resources and with the right enlightenment, and with going in depth in this in the north. But he's a very sellable candidate because a lot of people in the north have really suffered insecurity, and lost their means of livelihood in the north, and they don't have faith in APC anymore. So to me, personally, in the field, the Muslim ticket is not very sellable. I am just my own opinion, because in the north, most especially the northwest and the northeast, they don't even see Tinubu as a true Muslim. They just believe maybe he's just a Christian Muslim, that kind of thing. So they just did it intentionally. But in the northwest and the northeast, I think my counterparts that are from that area can testify to that. So if there's any further question, I'd love to answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to just throw question time. Is it, for Nigerians in diaspora like Chooks, Duke, and John, you've heard what they said. Is there anything we picked out from what they've said? Because for me personally, listening to them, what I am hearing is that engagement, that high level engagement. I was watching a video this week where Tinubu has been going around trying to meet the power broker that are Igbo, and he's gone round the middle belt. So Duke, I don't know if you can come in and put in what do you think about what they are saying. What should we actually be thinking about doing if we want to get the nuts?
I cede the floor
Yes.
to Dr. Alpha.
Oh, to Dr. Alpha. Oh, Dr. Alpha, sorry.
Right. Yeah, I going by, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, yes. No, I was just, reflecting on my earlier statement when I did the introduction. So it's obvious that things are not really going well in the North. And my fears have been confirmed by, the two speakers on ground, Umar and I forget the other guy's name.
Ibrahim.
What's his name?
Jamil,
yes. So I know that in Benue State, for example, there's the governorship candidate for the Labour Party is very popular. Herman Hambe. Recently, the SDP actually folded its structure into the Labour Party. To me, it's good news. I know that the big cities, the Makodis and the Tupos and young people and all that, they are rooting for Herman Hambe. He's a guy that has been there, done that. He's been in the House of Rep, or he's been in the National Assembly for some time, and then he's now the governorship candidate. So, and the reason I'm saying all this is because Benue, is part of the 19 states that the North are counting upon. So I'm thinking that along the middle belt lines, I think that some work is going on. I think that there's hope, as far as it relates to Peter Obi in that axis, Benue, Taraba, even at Damawa, which happens to be Atiku State. The thing, I'll ask my question later on, but I'm just trying to analyze a few things. The Muslim ticket, well, it was tried with Abiola and Babagana Kingibe and all that, and Babagana Kingibe being from the northwest, northeast, the same state that Tinubu has picked his running mate from. They're trying to play that trick again. But I think it's a bit more difficult because the other party, PDP, they have Atiku, who is a Fulani man, and from that axis as well. I mean, Adamawa. So I think that we can make inroads. I think that we might be able to get 25% in a good number of states, starting from the middle belt. But my fear is that I really want to know what the hierarchy of Labour Party, what they are doing to solve this problem. How are they making their presence felt? And is Dati Yusufu, who is from Kaduna State, is he making any inroads like the other party leaders are doing? I.e., why is he not visiting states? And why is Peter Obi not visiting those states? I'm just asking a question. I don't know whether he's doing it. So, I mean, if we all agree that the best way to solve this thing is to talk to leaders, sectional leaders, chiefs and emirs and people like that, why is Labour Party not actively doing it? Why are they leaving it to Jamil alone to crisscross the whole place? I'd like to get feedback, from, I mean, we can support, maybe financially or, trying to develop guides and policies and all that, but we are not foot on the ground. We are not in Nigeria, so we can't do the legwork. So my question is, as far as Jamil and Umar are concerned, how are they liaising with the hierarchy of the Labour Party to sort out these misnomers? Let me put it that way. These things that we think are that might lead to the downfall of Labour Party in the north.
Somebody I'm going to just put it out. Somebody said campaign hasn't started yet, I think. But I have been in a space, Jamil, before you answer this question, where there were issues being raised about what was happening with chairman, Labour Party chairman in the north, where they needed, they were asking for money or asking for something before they would even do the 1 million rally that was about to happen. So this question is very important. People keep saying, oh, because the campaign haven't started. But the other party are actually starting their consultation. Yeah. So we can, around. It's not the campaign, it's the consultation. No one stops the consultation happening. Now I'm going to put this question because I know, Jamil, you are on I know you've been in most of the meetings in Abuja. Miriam, can you guys please tell us, is there something hindering the Labour Party having access to these leaders and having this meeting with them? Is it that they do not want to have this conference with Labour Party? What can be done? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can I answer that, please?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Honestly, we are in talks with the Labour Party from from state level to the national level, including the national chairman himself, the national secretary, who is the engine room of the party himself. Last week, let me even say, we had a strategic session where we invited the Northerners to discuss, from various states, to discuss challenges and prospects of the Labour Party in their areas, especially the far northeast. During the time, we are together with the national secretary of the party and the national woman leader of the party, and sometimes we brainstorm for a day. They charge us again to schedule another time for that, which we considered we are going to hold it next week with the president of His Excellency Peter Obi. Yes, one of the problem we are facing, there are no challenges for the Labour Party to start consultation. Hello, okay. There are no challenges for the Labour Party to do consultations. I don't know why they are holding back and leaving it to the support group. Like myself, let me even tell you, at the level of the Northern Coalition, we wrote a letter to the Sultan of Sokoto seeking his blessing and the permission to come and visit him. He said he's waiting. The secretary, when we went to the secretary of the palace. He said that they are waiting for us to come because all other candidates came and our candidate did not come. I have to do an extraordinary consultations to make sure that we reach to His Excellency Peter Obi, which hopefully yesterday he called me and he acknowledged the effort we are making so far. And we tell him that, sir, there is need for you to come down to the northern Nigeria and start consultations with the traditional rulers, especially the Sultan of Sokoto, Emir of Kano, and Emir of Borno, and Shehu of Borno. These are the three chiefs in the northern Nigeria. So we have to come down to them and see them and do consultations of all this month. Then we have to make sure that the gubernatorial candidate of the Labour Party on the whole Nigerian northern states came off and starts mobilizing people, because in the whole northern Nigeria we have 418 local government. This 418 local government, His Excellency Peter Obi will only be present in one local government per state. So he cannot be everywhere. But the gubernatorial candidate, the senatorial candidate, and the House of Rep candidate, they will be the one that will go to the local areas, canvass support for themselves and our presidential candidate. So he now agreed for us to bring in the whole 19 northern gubernatorial candidates next week to Abuja and have that 2 days roundtable discussions with them for another sessions of the winning strategy. So honestly, there are a lot of effort right now because as of today, myself this morning, His Excellency Peter Obi still reached to us and tell us that he's in consultations and talk with the Sultan of Sokoto. He tell us that they are in talks and they will soon start consultations either tomorrow or next tomorrow. So that is part of the consultations. But honestly, we are late, never too late yet. Because for the past 2 months, because the culture in the northern Nigeria, when it is during fasting and during the Salah Idil Kabir, it is that time that any presidential candidate can go to these traditional rulers and make consultations. And with that time, we are making a lot of effort to make sure that His Excellency visits those places. But there are a lot of security concerns in the northern Nigeria. That is why he cannot make it. To the Yusuf Dati Baba Ahmad, the same thing. And he came to Sokoto, I think last month. We were together and we discussed about that. He promised us that immediately he came back from a break in London, he will start visiting all the 19 the traditional rulers in the northern Nigeria. So this is the level right now, and for the issue of consultations. Honestly, it is on talks and it is going to start very soon next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't know if anybody wants to come in and add to what he
Yes.
said.
May I?
Okay.
Yes.
Go
May
ahead.
I also? Yes. May I also say add to what Jamilu just said, and also deviate a little bit because, of course, we cannot sugarcoat some of these things that are happening with regards, especially to Yusuf Baba Ahmad. Yes, we know that he has made promises to actually start visiting, but it's coming a little bit late, even though not late enough. We hope that when he starts the consultations, we would be able to achieve something. But here in Kaduna State, for example, which is his state, I can tell you for free that he has not even, consult with his with contestants from Kaduna State. He has not sat down with them, interfaced with the contestants from Kaduna State, and maybe deliver, a plan for the state, which is his state, and that is the same thing for all of the northern states. So yes, if there are people here who can actually reach out to our principal Peter Obi, to see how they can activate this thing fast, possibly even before the campaign starts. Campaign starts in 7 days' time. We need him to make a very big move, so that this can be televised or aired, and at least people will see that okay, there's a presence. Because for now, all of us here will bear witness that you've not seen him doing that. He has appeared on Arise TV, he has appeared on Channels Television, only for interviews that he was invited for. But with regards to seeing him visiting a particular emir or a particular malam to consult, he has not done that. We need them to actually do that. And with regards to Peter Obi also, I think for when the campaign started, when he actually declared, the first thing we did, myself and Jamilu, was to come together to talk about how we can bring him here to the north, to see him interviewed by our local televisions here, maybe Arewa TV or even BBC Hausa. Although he did the one for BBC Hausa in Abuja, but it was not aired because I don't know if anybody saw the video or that interview, But if it was Arewa TV, for example, and if he did it with say some of this support group present there, we'll be able to amplify it via social media and even in local radio stations here in the north. That has not been done. If you listen to some FM station, you're driving around the north, you listen to some FM stations, you hear messages from Atiku. So those people who say campaign have not started yet, truly campaign have started in the north. I have to be very, very frank about that. You come to Kaduna today, you see vehicles that have been totally overdone with Atiku's poster or Tinubu and Shetima's posters. They've totally been done with it. The whole paintings, in fact, they will just the sticker. A very big sticker will be wrapped around the vehicle, and they are driving around. So these things are already being done here in the north. They are already consulting with several malams that I know of, and even traditional rulers. But our president and vice president have not been able to do that. As support groups, we've tried to reach out to push them to do this. So really, those around the Peter Obi campaign and directorate, if anybody here can reach out to them, because I've tried several ways. Jamilu himself have tried several ways to see how we can talk to them directly and get them to realize that the middle belt comprised of only Plateau, Nasarawa, Benue, Taraba, and Adamawa state. But then you have 19 other states. So there are 14 other states that have not been, that we do not have any presence in for now, except for those of us who are working on ground, just doing our bits, with the little we are able to get. So please, if there are some people here who can reach out to them, it is important that they talk to them, let them come to the north. If they need us to give them strategies on what to say, because what we planned initially was to get Peter Obi to have like an interactive session with youths from the north, and that will be televised via Arewa TV and maybe anchored via Arewa TV, but maybe TVC and what do you call it? Channels TV can also join, so that we interact with him. He will discuss what he wants to do for us in the north, how he intends to maybe policies that he wants to put in place to arrest the insecurity situation in the north. What about the fears between the southeast and the north, so that we as people in the north and who are going to speak frankly will be able to amplify the fact that the southeast is the closest friend to the north, because we see them every day. They are in our markets. They contribute more in every northern state than even indigenous of those states themselves. I can say for a fact that Sabon Gari is the biggest revenue generating market in Kano State. And 90% of people who do business in Sabon Gari market in Kano State are Igbo people. You know, so this fear, this fear mongering, this animosity that have been built over the years by political jobbers and crisis entrepreneurs, you know, we need to quell it. And how do we do this? We need our principal to come so that when we have this kind of interactive session, we'll use that medium to be able to push this narrative to the hearts of several of our people here who are on this right now undecided as to which party they are going to support, because definitely they are tired of APC for the insecurity situation that have been you know, going on, and then the PDP for what they have done in the past, you know. So they need a new narrative. But how do we do this? We need people, we need him to come here, let him talk to Northerners directly, let him get us involved in the process so that we'll give him what to say, because those around him, even the big men around him, like the vice presidential candidate himself, these are elites who are already benefiting from the status quo. Sorry to say, we are hopeful that when they come on board, of course, we are going to engage them. We are going to be involved in policy, in the kind of policy they develop for the North. But before then, we need to discuss it so that we'll be able to win people to our side with this kind of policies that we want to push and to them, and get them to realize that, okay, the Southeastern man, the Peter Obi everybody is demonizing. Look at yourself, look around you. Who is the man selling this? Who is the man selling the tire parts in your market? Who are you buying this from? Who are you buying that from? You know, this kind of narrative needs to be pushed enough so that people realize that, okay, these people are actually, I mean, the South is actually not an enemy. We are sorry for the fact that the elites have pushed this for too long. Sorry, I am taking too much of time, but let me just drop that for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean,
let me just
you know, let me say something. When I wanted to organize this live stream, my heart desire was to find out what was happening in the North. That was what I wanted to know. I have been on a lot of space, on a lot of live stream, and I have heard a lot. And I wanted to know what is actually happening in the North. I'm going to put this question to Mr. Opute and Mr. Chooks, because I know that you are connected to the P2B campaign, and you are in touch with the structure and the campaign managers and the people in the committee. Haven't heard what they have said. Please, what do you have to say? Is it a strategy? Why is it that we have not yet reached out to the prominent Northern people? Is this strategy working against or for us? I want Mr. Duke Opute to talk about, because I know you know about politics and strategy. What is going on here?
Myself, am I audible now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. First of all, I think that my role, in fact, our role, the diaspora group here, is essentially to listen to what Omar and Jamilu and Mariam and Olua have experienced over the last few weeks or months during their involvement in P2P's campaign. And I think we've had enough to understand what the challenges they face are at the moment. And my assessment of what these challenges are is simply this, that because of the short time that P2B's campaign have, I believe that they have abandoned a Labour Party structure as a route or a path to the presidency. What I don't know, what I cannot find out, is what alternative path they have chosen. I say this essentially because speaking or asking a question of a number of the big wigs in the Obi's campaign, the impression I get, the answers I get are, we don't have time to structure the Labour Party. But the key question is, what do they have time to do? And Dr. Alpha hit the nail on the head earlier on when he wondered where the Northern politicians who are part and parcel of Obi's campaign, where they are and what their input is at the moment, including, for instance, the vice presidential candidate himself. I and Chooks were in Finsbury Park yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, to listen to the vice presidential candidate. Unfortunately, I didn't make it in time, so I only caught the tail end of it. But I did ask him a question privately afterwards, and he basically shut down the question very quickly, but very efficiently, which basically threw what light on his personality and the kind of person he is, i.e., he's very smart, he's very intelligent, and he understands the issues, but nevertheless, he hasn't had time to, or is unwilling to go into the detail of what's going to help them win the election. So I would suggest that the problem we have at the moment, if you can call it a problem, or the challenge that we have as a group, is that we are working independent of our principle. So whatever decisions we come to, whatever conclusions we come to, is almost irrelevant if it doesn't align with our principles, objectives, and their own intentions. So my suggestion would therefore be, and that will answer the question that Olua asked earlier, is that we make an effort to establish in the minds of the central committee of B2B's campaign that the Northern Coalition is probably the best route towards getting to the votes in the North. But to do that, we've got to be very, very specific. 19 states is a lot of states. We can't be talking about 19 states. We should be talking about small groups of states, maybe the 4 biggest states, maybe Sokoto, Kaduna, Kanu, and Borno. We can look at these 4 states and say, or even Bauchi as well, and say, look, these are the states that have the most votes. Can we concentrate on these states in the next 5 weeks to organize meetings with the traditional rulers of the major towns in these states? And when those meetings are organized, they should be attended not just by Jamilu by himself, but by the local politicians in those states. Because if you want to convince those people, it's got to be done by their own people, not by outsiders. So we need to basically identify very strong personalities in those 5 states that are willing to see a change in Nigeria. And we have to remember that at the end of the day, when people go to vote, they are not going to vote for a name. They are not going to vote for a face. There is no name and there is no face on the ballot paper. What you have on the ballot paper is a political party. So in the minds of the local villagers in the North, it doesn't matter if P2B is sold to them. What matters is that the Labour Party is sold to them. So if a local heavyweight that can be trusted, that has the right message, i.e. the message of change, the message that Omar has pointed out, the failure of the past from the 2 parties that are contesting against us, because those are the failures that we must continue to emphasize. If you repeat something long enough, it will stick. And we have to therefore focus on that failure. And if we can sell that failure to those people by the local politicians with a logo of people, they will vote for it without even knowing that they're voting for P2B. It's not the issue. It's not about P2B. Let the opposition talk about P2B. Let us talk about Nigeria. That is the way I say it. So if Uma and Sali, if you guys feel that you have that message thoroughly brought up to be able to get to these people, for them to understand the need for change, then let us work towards getting top local politicians to deliver those messages. Basically in association, of course, with Dati. Dati has got to be the man, not Peter. Dati must deliver the North. Peter will have more difficulty doing it. Dati will have a lot less difficulty doing it.
Thank you so much. I picked up on something that you said that I want us to elaborate more. You said it is the logo, it is the party that people will be voting for. Now, Miriam, Jamilu, and Ibrahim, you know that most Nigerians, I've seen a lot of videos and I've seen a lot of people on the march, and what they say is, we are only voting P2B for presidency. We are not voting him for maybe the Senate or the House of Rep or the governorship. But when it comes to the presidency, we are for Peter Obi. How does that ideology or that structure work for you when you are out there? And because you're going to be meeting people who are actually for Peter Obi, but when you want the Labour Party senator or the governor aspirant to actually work for Peter Obi, how does it feel when they know that the people want Peter Obi, but they might not want them? What do you do when you encounter such, challenges? Miriam, can you please come into this?
Okay. When we encounter such challenges, there's this thing we call it came in when Kwankwaso started with NNPP. It's called Shinkapa da Wake. In Hausa, they call it like rice and beans muke. So that means we might vote for our candidate. This is our gubernatorial candidate or senatorial candidate that we want to vote for. But this is the presidential candidate that we want to vote for. So using that, we try as much as possible to make people, we can use that strategy to make people understand that and use that strategy to make people vote for Peter Obi, because I think he's a very soluble candidate. They don't want in the North, most especially the Northwest and the Northeast, they do not want this APC and PDP, but they have their governors and other people they want to vote for, but they do not want this new, these old politicians. That is a fact,
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, but I want I know there was a conversation about the senators and the governors that are Labour Party having a meeting with maybe Dati or Peter Obi. How would they want to go for that meeting when they know that the people actually might not vote for them? That's what I'm saying. Jamilu, can you just, I know you understand because I've heard you in a
There's
space.
this problem,
Yes, that is what I want to answer, please.
Said, let's call a spade, please, here. In the North, let's say, the nonchalant attitude of Dirty is rubbing off badly on this campaign. I don't know, you understand? But let me leave Jamilu to say something.
Right, Jamilu, can you just, because I've heard you talk about this in a space and I want you to, please, how do we solve this? How do we solve this ideology? Oh, I'm for the president, but then how will I, if I'm a governor and I know you don't want to vote for me, how am I going to be campaigning for you? I'm just not going to do it. So how do we go about solving this?
Yes, I want to answer one of the questions the last speaker before Hajia Mariam's talk. I think what we are doing, I'm not the only persons, let me even say, most of the Northerners, let me even say 90% of the Northerners are not on social media. And especially the grassroots mobilizers. So what we did is that we have a strong connections with grassroots mobilizers in the Northern Nigeria. For example, there is a senatorial candidate, aspirant under APC in Gombe State, who has a mass followership. He was denied the ticket. Yesterday, he reached out to me. that he want to decamp to Labour Party, but he want a strong connection directly to His Excellency Peter Obi for him to know what we call it, what are they going to offer him before he joined Labour Party. So what we did is that we are not working alone. Let me even say I'm not working alone. We are working with a team of politicians. Why people know me mostly because I'm more visible, I'm more knowledgeable about social media. There are other grassroots mobilizers that people doesn't have of them because they are in the local areas. These guys know politics very well, but they are not on social media at all. So they are working very hard in the northern part of Nigeria to galvanize people to join Labour Party. But the problem we are having, this problem is that is the culture in the north. You will see that at the batch of any election period, you will see that there is a lot of decamping from one party to another. That is what we are going to experience in the next few weeks, because these guys that lost election right, let me even say chances to climb the ticket in the APC, they wanted to come back to Labour Party because they don't want to go to PDP. We are very lucky enough, myself, to get them. When they reach out to me today, I connected them directly to His Excellency Peter Obi. First of all, I chatted him. I told him this is what is happening. He said he knows the person. So he's going to call him directly. He called the person directly. So these are the kind of things we are telling you. So the concern is that we have to use the locals, because I myself alone, I cannot be in each and every state. So we are making a lot of contacts throughout the northern Nigeria. Let me even tell you another example. There is a woman that mobilizes 100 women for local government in Kebbi State, 21 local government. She just called me, asked me to come to Kebbi State. When I went there, you see, I saw more than 1,000 women. Wow. Locals, Hausa, you know, our women, they don't want us to take their pictures and other things like that. We address them, talk to them, and assure them that we are going to bring in His Excellency Peter Obi. So the major concern here is that about the candidates, especially the gubernatorial candidate, the senatorial candidate. You see, the National Assembly elections will go hands in hands together with a presidential election. That is what we call it. But if you put a lot of hope, pressure on these National Assembly members that are going to the National Assembly, they will go and campaign thoroughly to make sure that they win election. Wow. So that is why we called them to Abuja, interact with them with His Excellency Peter Obi yesterday. So that is what we are going to do, the same thing with gubernatorial candidates, because they will be the one as the key in their states to go and mobilize people to vote for them. In the process of winning people to Labour Party, we are attracting them to even increasing our chances for those people to vote for His Excellency Peter Obi. So honestly, saying that these people, we consider them as a paperweight, they are not that heavy, we have to bring them. Even if they are not strong, we have to put that pressure on them. That is what we are doing right now. Because if you understand the culture of the politics in northern Nigeria, as long as a candidate knows that he's not going to win, he's not going to campaign for anybody.
That's what I'm saying.
If you put that, yes, if you put that hope in him and tell him that, guy, if you work very hard, we are going to support you with every available resources we have. Campaign and win this election. He will equally campaign together with His Excellency Peter Obi. Because all the 480 local government, Peter Obi cannot be there. Yes. There are some places there is no road network. So they are well disconnected with electricity, no lights, no internet, nothing. And it is northern Nigeria. You won't even believe it if you go to another place and see such kind of places. So that is why we insist at the Northern Coalition that these guys, we are going to work hand in hand together with them. All the candidates, especially those that are going to have their elections together with presidential election on the same day. House of Assembly, House of Rep and the senators. So we bring them to Abuja. Yesterday there is that collaboration. So the Northerners, we are bringing them back again next week to make sure that these guys will put too much pressure on them, give them available resources to make sure that they go back to their local areas and campaign. So this is what we are doing with the gubernatorial candidate. That is why, with the effort we put, they now elect one person as their chairman. That is Engineer Bashir I. Bashir of Kano State, who is more stronger than all of them in the northern Nigeria. All the 19 northern states, they have Labour Party has their gubernatorial candidates. So yesterday we are in talks with them. We held a virtual meeting yesterday, and they agree, all of them, that they are coming to Abuja next week for us to meet and discuss for 2 days for winning strategies. And His Excellency assures that when he confirmed that he is coming. So honestly, these people are the key in their state. So we have to put enormous pressure on them to make sure that they campaign for Peter Obi, local area to local area. Thank you very much.
So much. Thank you so much. Because I just wanted to.
May I also add here, in answer to your question, basically, the thing about these issues of voting Peter Obi and not voting for a governorship candidate or not voting for a senatorial candidate, on our own part, especially here in Kaduna, what I do personally is to tell them how election works, how party politics work in Nigeria. You cannot tell anybody, just like Sam Jamilu said, that oh, I am going to vote for Peter Obi. I don't care who wins for governorship or who wins for senatorial seat. That is going to work against the party and His Excellency Peter Obi. When people talk about structure, the structure we are talking about is actually those local candidates, the ward candidate, the councillorship candidate, the chairmanship candidate, the House of Representative candidate, the House of Assembly, the senatorial candidate, and the governorship candidate. They hold the key, just like Jamilu has affirmed. So we are not going to allow people use the idea of let's vote for Peter Obi for presidency, and then you can vote any other person for House of Reps or House of Assembly or governorship. No, we are preaching against that seriously. But particularly here in Kaduna, I have been able to address people with regards to that, and I talk to them. We cannot do it that way. I sat with the Labour Party ESCOs here in Kaduna, and I told them straight. I said, yes, there might be slim chances for us to have to win the governorship election in Kaduna State, but we cannot sell the idea that the governorship candidate doesn't matter. He has to matter if we intend for him to bring his resources to actually help galvanize voters. Then we have to give him assurance that we will work for him. I think that will answer the first question you put out. Thank you.
Thank you. Before Doctor wants to say something, and this is, does it mean, because I know that in the southern part of Nigeria, that is the ideology that is working. So that means that the northern part of Nigeria, that ideology might not work. Doctor, you want to say something?
Yes, I just want to agree with what some of us are saying here. And just to point out one thing, because the major thing is about identifying the problem. Because when you identify the problem, then you know the solution is on the way. And I want to believe that the Labour Party...
Can't hear you. Can't hear.
Can't hear me now?
I can hear him.
Okay.
I want to... Yeah, the Labour Party understands the importance of delivering the North as per one-on-one. Now, meaning that we have to have foot soldiers, just like some of us are saying here. We have to have foot soldiers that we go villages by villages, local government by local government, on the grassroots angle to mobilize the people. Now, the question is, how do we make sure that we have enough foot soldiers to do the delivery? Remember, we have transportations, people have to connect to villages. And just like one of us said here, some of the people that we're dealing with, we're going to work with or convince them. They're not on social media. And it's a good thing for Labour Party that we are also dealing with apathy here now, where the APC may not have did not deliver to the people in terms of other aspects, economically and security-wise. Now, if we have that, how do we now go foot by foot, grassroots work, to convince people that the P2B and the DATI and the Labour Party coming in are different, that are going to deliver to us? So if these people in the extreme communities are not on social media, there has to be other ways that we can reach them, including foot soldiers going on one-on-one, convincing them why this has to happen. And then another important angle, again, is radio jingles, like people listening to what the message the Labour Party has for them, especially when you're in the remote areas. I know people in the remote areas actually do have access to radio. I served in Brini Kebi. I was in 2nd Mechanized Battalion, Brini Kebi, and my endurance strength was in Arugungu. We're able to go to all these Arugungu environments on endurance strength. We know that though people are there, they have their radio on. They can listen to political information that coming to them. So we have to find a way. How do we make sure we increase the food soldiers so that we don't have really few people doing that for us? And how do we get the jingles sounding in the radio? I believe that, let me believe that these are going to come immediately. The election kicks off, is declared open. But if we don't have all these things on ground, we're going to be having an uphill task here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I know there are some of these things are already, the structures are already being put in place, and diasporas are actually helping. I think this should bring us to the question, what do you need from Nigerian in diaspora? Because you guys are on the streets. You guys, I've heard, I'm always on space, and I'm going to say, because I listen to you a lot, Jamilu, and I listen to you, Miriam. I know the problem maybe you guys can explain more about the problem that you guys encounter when you go into the rural area. We say we don't give shishi, but really, what is the expectation when you go to the rural area? When you travel, what is the expectation? What do you want? Because I'm going to talk to can Chooks, I don't know if I should directly with our coordinator first, for them to look at what we have done, and then you can now be the one to address what is the expectation from diaspora. Let me just hand it over to Chooks. What have we done? What do you think that we have done? And then maybe they can tell us what they need from us.
Well, thank you very much. What everybody has shared here is the fact. It's the fact. No doubt about it. It's the fact. Except we all partner together and leverage on our strengths, and these are our strengths. One, we have a massive group of persons on the ground with the zeal, with the zest, the desire to go out there and do what is needed. That is the strength. And then we have another group of people so passionate about what we want to achieve, but are not on the ground, but can make and facilitate what is happening on the ground. That is another strength. We need to leverage these strengths. And as a person and as a group, that is what I have been preaching about. Across different groups, we must leverage these strengths. We must coalesce to not as one group, but ideologically in a way that allows us to impact massively on the ground. We know they give shishi. That is not what you are going to tell the man that is going to put petrol in your car to go from point A to point B. You know they give shishi. That's not what you're going to tell the person that is going to feed you when you're on the road. You know they give shishi. It's not what you're going to give to tell the printer that is going to print out resource materials that you're going to use to do what you're doing. However you talk about these things, there must be an inflow of funds from somewhere. It has to happen. And this is where I say to my fellow diasporans, if we must impact positively on the outcome of the 2023 elections as we all want it to be, we have to leverage our strength. We have to play to our strength. We have to move funds into the environment, support our foot soldiers to achieve what we all want to happen. So right now, I have been fronting something across the different groups and to, diasporan groups, as well as to the grassroots groups called the Northern Project Fund. For each group in their own locations to begin to think not, how can we all work together to advance, enhance what we are doing in the North? It is very important. It is very, very urgent. And that is what I could contribute to this, to say what everybody has said, there is no iota of misgivings there. They are actual facts on the ground. Actual facts on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to put your phone number there because you are the coordinator. There might be someone who is going to watch this video and the person want to reach out. We will put your phone number out there now for them to call you and for them to think about how you can work with them so that we can help Northern Nigeria. Now, I want the foot soldiers, people that are there, to tell us about what do they want. What are your basic needs? What are those things that you guys really want us to come in and address for you? So that if anybody watches this video, because we're going to send this video out, we're going to strategically send this video to people that will help. And when they watch this video, they should understand, based on your presentation today, what you are asking for and what you need. So please, can you just, I'm going to give Ibrahim time to talk, Samilu time to talk, and Miriam time to talk. What do you want the diaspora to come in and do?
Okay, thank you very much. I think we have gone beyond we have gone past the stage where we do T-shirts, where we do face caps, T-shirts, and small flyers are for the matches. At this stage right now, what we need is money. Let me just be very blunt about it, because the stage where we are now, it is where money is going to work. For example, if Jamilu have to cover, say, 5 states, I have to cover 5 states. Mohammed Yahaya have to cover 5 states. Mrs. Mariam Isnoor here have to visit possibly each state in the north, or galvanize other women leaders from all 19 northern states to work with us. She will need to visit some of these places physically. She will need to visit some of these women leaders physically. She needs to gather them. She needs to hire halls and gather them for meetings. She needs to give them what they will distribute to market women and all that. So it's about money right now. Then also we would need to brand vehicles, more, different vehicles, pickup trucks, buses, that would drive, and people see Peter Obi's poster plastered around all of those vehicles. then we also need to have to embark on serious cleaning, laundering of the person of Peter Obi, because of the hard nut it will be for us to crack here in the north, with what have been said about his tribe, his religion, and his person. So we will need to have to engage on produce content production, video content productions, radio jingles. We will need to visit some of these radio stations and buy time to talk, to have maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour interviews and interactions, so that we will bring certain things to light. So those advantages that Peter Obi brings to the table as against what the other parties will bring. We would need to dismantle the APC and PDP and their propaganda, especially the religious propaganda that they are pushing. I am sure some of you saw the video that Sheikh Mahadi, the owner of Dialogue here in Kaduna, how he addressed when he met with Christian APC members from the north, and he said things that were not palatable at all. Trying to set the Christians from the north against the Christians from the south, so to speak. I think if that video is not there, if you've not seen it, I'll gladly share it if I get your WhatsApp numbers. And also there is a video, a radio jingle, a TV jingle from APC that I shared with one of my group that is close to the big tent, about Peter Obi and what they said. So many, disparaging statements they made against our principal. All this needs to be countered. And the only way we can do that is to get people who do videography, who do video editing, and people and veterans in the radio media space, who can help us produce jingles for Peter Obi. These things cost money. So to be honest and candid, what we need is money. And we are open to accountability for anybody that wants to see what we would be doing on ground. We'll be open to that. That is basically what I think we need. Thank you.
Miriam, do you have anything to add to what he said?
I think he has basically said everything. Like now, the Northern Coalition is launching a program, the Mama, Papa, Pikin sensitization, the logo sensitization, that is going to cut across all the local governments and how to vote, and everything. Then we have the women. There are a lot of things, we have to sensitize, and it's funds, and enlightenment to get there. Because I think I've said it times without number. This is not the first time I'm here with you guys. So I think the most important thing is funds, and then rural sensitization, boots on ground, then harmonizing with support groups on ground, the ones in each and every state in the 19 local governments. And me, most of the time, my focal point is the Northwest and the Northeast, and they need a northern face to interact with. The space we met, I think I was addressing, most of the time the diaspora is sending money. They use it against us because they send it to most especially the Igbo or the Christians residing in the north, and the opposition paints Peter Obi as even his foot soldiers and the diaspora and everything as bygones. I am here to candidly say things as they are. I am not sugarcoating anything right now, so I'm just saying it as it is. So basically, funds are needed for sensitization, grassroots mobilization, and everything that needs to be done to win this election. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamili. And what do you have to add to what your counterpart have said, your comrade?
Yes, I think they said everything. One of the most important things is this logistic resources to penetrate these areas, especially these grassroots mobilizers we have, to motivate them, give them enough resources, available resources to go into the villages. Let me tell you, there is people that call me every day, Adamawa, Gombe, everywhere. There is this connections with them. They believe that we have a lot of resources to dispose to them, not knowing that we are making a lot of it. Our movement is organic contributions from people that are, let me even tell you, there is some time somebody will just pay a radio time, air time, 30 minutes, 1 hour. He will just call me, please go to so place. I will not even ask for any what we call it transportations or any other person. The only things I will do, I will call somebody who is very close to that area to go to that place. It's later that I will search for something to send it to him. So these are the kind of things, honestly, we need this traditional media. Traditional media play a very vital role in Northern Nigeria because Northerners listen to radio each and every day. There are programs, political programs that have been aired by the local radios. So we have to use that opportunity to do. If you check my Facebook profile or YouTube channel, you will see that there are many radio programs I attended in various states. I started from Kaduna, Kebbi State, Sokoto State, Zamfara State, Kano State. I went everywhere. But not only I myself, we have teams of political analysts that buy into the idea of His Excellency Peter Obi. These people, I ignite them, make sure that each and every week they can go to radio stations twice a week. But we cannot do it empty-handed. We have to give them resources. Then logistic. There are some places that I told you, they are not trackable. You have to use even ferries, water to what we call it, water ferries to enter another place. So we need logistics definitely. Find resources, vehicles to move around the areas, and make sure that we empower this gubernatorial candidate and bring them, tell them, look, we are going to support you, but we want to see results. We want to add to what you have so that you guys can go and penetrate the local areas because we cannot be everywhere. These people are the key. We are on top of the game right now that they agree with us and they agree and sign an agreement. We are going to have an agreement between us and them because let me even say, we are into politics. We are not doing Father Christmas. We cannot say we source for money and sponsor somebody that will just go and take the money, pocket it in for himself without doing the work. We want to see, yes, you are willing to win election. If we understand that you are not willing to win election, we will find somebody who is a House of Rep member or a senatorial member or governor member who we believe that he has that in mind that he wants to win election, then we support him. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I don't know if anybody, doctors, if you have anything to say, Okupe, Chooks, if you have anything to say. I think that the Mohammed Yahaya, the Coalition Secretary General, is also trying to come on. He has something to say. We need to be rounding up. We've heard what they have to say. We have heard the challenges. I think it is time we start maybe fundraising, doing a lot of things to, bring the funds to them. Dr. Alpha, do you have anything to say, like, a rounding comment, what you think after listening to everything that you've heard today? You're mute. I think you're mute.
Yeah, thanks for giving me this opportunity to relate with my brothers from the north, the geographical north, political north. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I think we've had enough this night to give us some insight into what's on ground and what can happen and what should be happening. All I can say is, I think the much needed help should be streamlined, and I believe that our leader here, Chief Agwabia, Chooks, will be able to streamline this support system such that it will get to the right hand, it will get to the right people. I'm aware that there's a lot of effort going round amongst diasporans, and there's a lot of willingness to help. But we just want to make sure that the help goes to the right people. Just like the lady was saying, Ismail? Miriam. Just like Miriam was saying, sometimes this money, it sounds to me like there have been some help, but it probably goes to the people, the different people. You know, she said that it probably goes to the Igbos in the north, or it goes to some other people that are not actually doing what these people were, the guys, the foot soldiers were talking with this evening. You know, so I trust that our leader here will be able to, you know, put us, give us some notice, arrange funds, and make sure it gets to the right people. I still am a bit I'm a bit at a loss why the central Labour Party is not really liaising with the Northern Coalition or people on the ground. I'll leave that to those of us that are very capable of liaising with the top Labour leaders. But I'll really be glad if I can see that happening.
Thank you. Dr.
Annie? Yes. Yeah. Please, I'm just going to look at the whole summary of what we all discussed, right? We are looking at getting a rodeo running when the time comes, or right away, because other parties are already doing that. We are looking at events that will create an avenue for interactive section with the youth and local villages, even involving organizing maybe a soccer game or boxing game, something on behalf of Labour Party to get people, create more awareness. We are looking at means of transportation to reach out to the local area. Some areas might not be motorable, but bikes can get there. Some can go with canoe and all that, or even animal. So the bottom line is to get the foot soldiers that can go one-on-one to reach people on the remote area. And all these things coming to funding, we're going to need to create a pocket for our people. Then reaching the leader, both traditional and religious leaders. The imam on the religious level, the leaders, the emirs, the Serikis, and all that. Then it comes down to the question that I want to ask again. I'm going to leave that for us to answer. How do we deliver the states that have security challenges? How do we make sure that people in that area vote for Labour Party? Well, I don't know. I will just say maybe Borno State is one of them, which APC candidate is there. We still have Castina, we still have Zamfara State. These are areas that we have to look at who and who can deliver us in that state. How do we do that? Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me answer. May I answer? Okay. May I answer that? Okay. Last 2 months, I think we make an effort. You know, in Zamfara State and Katsina State, we have over 2 million registered internally displaced persons. Particularly in Zamfara State, we have over 75 villages, 2 local governments that were displaced by bandits. That they now start entering Sokoto State. So these people, most of the people that are going to board in those local areas are now compared in one place, IDP camp. So hopefully, luckily for us, we get the clearance to enter the IDP camp and talk to them and deliver, carry what we call a medical check-up for them. So during the time, we interact with their leaders and ask them to vote for to join Labour Party, and they agree. But there is a lot of promises we made that time, this is what we are going to bring to them, we cannot able to deliver it because we make sure that we liaise with the leadership of the Labour Party to come, to send somebody from the national headquarters to come and see these people so that we can give them something on behalf of the Labour Party. So the Labour Party later responded that there is lack of funds for them to carry out that assignment. We still have that opportunity because we can get this clearance and reach out to the IDP camps, especially in these two states, Katsina and Zamfara states. So we still have that opportunity to go because most of the people that are going to vote in the local areas now are compiled in one place, IDP camp. So it is very important for us to penetrate that and use this opportunity and give them some certain livelihood materials and other things to support their life right now so that we win them, because there is this sympathy for the Labour Party right now across the 19 northern states because of the rapid insecurity and other things like that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Dr. Okupe to just round up, just like summarize what we've said, what we're taking from here, and what we are going to go back to the drawing board as subcommittees to work on. Sorry, Duke Oputa.
Yes, I'm here. Yes, it's patently obvious that all the talk that we've gone through this evening culminates in one thing: the need to raise money to help the Northern Coalition achieve their objective. But I think we should take a short break, just for a week or so, basically to await the outcome of what Omar had said earlier, reaching out to the Central Principals Committee, i.e. Peter Obi's main campaign office. They need to be involved. The last thing that we want to do is to be funding a campaign that is not coordinated with the presidential candidate. Yeah, because they already have an idea of what they want to do, even though we may not, obviously, be privy to that campaign plan. But there is a campaign plan, and Umar is already on the way to coordinating with them to find out what it is they want to do. But yes, I would suggest that the approach should be to have specific budgetary demands from Omar. So we need to know if, for instance, you need 1 million naira just to keep your administration going, i.e. travels and stuff like that over a period of time. If you can put a request for that specific amount to us, then our campaign or our fundraising activities can be geared towards that specific objective, but not in general terms, as in that's what we're going to do to get Peter elected, so let's spend the money. We cannot be spending money independent of Peter Obi's campaign. They've got to lead the way. They've got to say, that's what we want to do. And if they decide that they are going to let you, the coalition, carry out a specific campaign objective in that area, then we know that that's a decision. Their hands are out of it. They will then bring some funds in themselves. We'll bring in funds and we'll try to top it up with whatever we can get. But without that, I think it's difficult to proceed. So let's wait and see the outcome of the interaction that you have, Umar, with Peter Obi's campaign. And hopefully maybe in the next week or two, you can come back to us and say, this is where we are with them. We have an agreement. We have an arrangement as to task allocation and role allocation. And once we know that, I think we'll be in a position to help. We certainly will help. There's absolutely no doubt about that, because we do know that it requires money to get anywhere. Without the money, we cannot achieve anything.
Thank you.
Sorry, Uncle. Let me just make a little slight correction. Jamilu, who is the chairman of the Northern Coalition, is in fact the person that will interface with the Peter Obi campaign I just thought to make that point of
Okay, sorry.
correction. And yes, and also for the budgetary demand, of course, we are going to go back to the drawing board ourselves here, all of us from the Northern Coalition, and raise up a budget and actually submit it to you. But
Excellent.
Jamilu is in fact in charge of liaising and interfacing with the central body, the campaign directorate. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so
Yes,
Thank you
much.
for that clarification. Okay.
just a further clarification. We have requested that budget and we have received it, and that budget was recently reviewed by the relevant committees for the diaspora NDFPO as latest as Tuesday last.
Oh,
So
thank
we
you.
already have that budget and we've reviewed it. So it's in our hands.
Thank you so much.
Just can I ask Chooks? Can I just ask Chooks? Chooks, the budget that you received, I believe I've actually did say it. Is that budget for the whole 19 states, or is just for the committee?
For the whole 19 states.
Whole
For
19 states,
Northern
okay.
Ireland, yes.
Thank you. I'm just going to, before we round up, we have Mohammed Yahaya, who is the Coalition Secretary General. He's here. He's been like on the comment section, commenting. Mohammed, you are here. Do you want to say something? I think you have a lot to say. Maybe we'll round up after we've heard from you. Do you have something to say? Mohammed? Jamilu, I mean, he's here, but he's not saying anything. Muhammad.
I believe that is
Yeah,
network.
good evening, everyone.
He's talking now. Yeah. Good evening.
Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, go on. Yeah.
All right. I will make a little submission because all what other people have said, I'm satisfied with it. But I just need to come here a little and just add my own quota. Look, let's tell each other the truth. Let's be frank with one another. We have 6 days remaining for campaign. All what we are discussing today ought to have been discussed like 3 months back or 2 months back in preparedness for this election, especially in the northern Nigeria. Look, you've been talking about foot soldiers. Foot soldiers are the real result of every election. They are the true result. You see my comment, I've been saying we have to less grammar and dive into action. I really mean what I'm saying here. Jamil Sufi knows. Miss Noor is aware. Ibrahim Umar is equally aware. And every other person on the Northern Coalition know what we have been.
Yeah.
Please, can anybody hear me? Are you still
with
me?
Yeah. You are back now. You're back now. Yeah.
Fine. So what I'm saying in essence is that we have almost left our legacy for other people to thief. We have standard structure. We have standard cells. We have the most, formidable structure that can be adopted in the entire 19 northern states. Northern Coalition have made that for the past 2 months on ground. But in fact, it has reached an extent whereby our other cells in other states will be calling us that they want to start going to sensitize people. You cannot ask them to go and sensitize people without any cover. It's not done anywhere. We come up with a lot of strategies to win this election. Now, 6 days to today, we don't have even 1 million in our account. We have been blowing grammar all this while. Northern Coalition. Look, we need to do something. We need to do something before, other people will continue to steal our structure and go and utilize it and win election. Somebody was talking about how to deliver security states that are having security challenge. I think if you are talking about the state where you will win election first, you should start with those states. Mm-hmm. Jamil Sufi must have told you there was a time we decided to organize ourselves and had an in-depth discussion on how to visit those IDP camps. Visit them, rub mind with them, canvass, preach this gospel to them. Give them some things, maybe buying some drugs for them. You understand? Give some of their malnourished children, give them some drugs. Just give them some little items they will use. They will never forget you. And believe me sincerely, we'll go simultaneously.
Okay, we've lost him again. Hello. Okay,
Help
I'm
every
just,
person.
yeah. We are breaking now, Muhammad. Muhammad. I think he's still saying the same thing that we have all said today. And I'm just going to round up. I'll just, has been a very eventful evening. We have actually heard from the Northern Coalition group, supporters for Peter Obi. I think we have a clear picture of what is on ground. And if anybody watched this video after this live broadcast, they will have a clear picture. We hope that everything that's been said here that is worked on, whether we like it or not, election in Nigeria, anywhere in the world, is actually won through funding. Now, the funding can come from the central campaign headquarters, or like P2B support group has actually decided to do, get the funding channeled from the supporters. What we need to do is to support the Northern group and to do as much as we can to make sure that their work is strengthened and that they work together, knowing that they have people out there who appreciate, who understand the struggles that they are facing, and that they are there to support them. And I'm going to say thank you to everyone who came to this live show today, because I know you guys took, it's your busy schedule. This is like on a Thursday, we have other meetings to attend, but we came here because the North is very important. Southeast, we know we could get 80%. Southwest, we might get 50%. The North is actually the dynamics of the North and the political structure of the North is actually totally different from the South. That is why the North is very important. I'm going to yield the mic to the coordinator for him to close this meeting and actually say the final thought before we go this evening.
Yes, I really want to thank everybody who's joined both directly as panelists and those following this discussion. There is no underestimating the magnitude of work we all have to do, particularly in the North. But we are grateful to God that we have passionate people on the ground. The Northern Coalition is a formidable group, and we also have additional groups that are also very effective in the North that we are supporting, encouraging, and providing the relevant resources for them to keep doing what they are doing. But this is not a task for one person, one group. Collectively, we can make significant impact to the fortunes and outcome that we all desire. It's not just somebody's desire, it's all our desire. I will continue to reach out to different groups and their leaders to emphasize very strongly the need for everyone to prioritize the North in their effort, in their agenda, in their finances. And that is going to be one of the key highlights that I will continue to pursue and encourage everybody to do same. The North is important. We must not lose sight of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm going to say good night. Thank you so much, everybody that joined us. And I hope to see you guys when we have another interesting discussion and conversation to talk about. God bless you. Good night.
Good night.